Now, Sam Walsh is our Saturday star. Earlier in the day at the Adelaide Oval, he was absolutely phenomenal. This is a guy that's had a slow start to the year. He had another injury-interrupted pre-season at Princes Park, but he was absolutely everywhere today.
He had his explosion back, which I haven't seen for him for quite some time, and of course he dealt with a hamstring setback in the summer, which delayed his pre-season preparations, but he had that explosion back, that burst of pace out of the stoppage, which they need alongside the bigger bodies like Cripps and Hewitt, and this goal really reflects that. I mean, he just beats Harley Reid to the footy there, 2 number 1 picks going at it, and finished really classily as well. So he had 3 goals to half-time. He finishes with 37 disposals, 13 score involvements. That's what Carlton needs from Sam Walsh. I mean, they're going to have tougher tests this year. We'll get to West Coast in just a minute because they were really, really disappointing today, but they need Sam Walsh to be that player that can hit the scoreboard, win the footy, and complement their bigger-bodied ball winners like Cripps and Hewitt.
Let's talk about West Coast now, because Andrew McQualter knew the size of the challenge that was in front of him when he took this big role late last year. But look at the numbers today. They were absolutely decimated across the board. Yeah,
unprecedented, really. I mean, they had 77 contested possessions, which was a low in AFL history. No one's ever had fewer than that in the entire history of the AFL. So they'll be really disappointed with that. They didn't crack in hard enough. They had a number of players missing, we know that. But I just don't think they have the quality on their list at the moment to help them build back to where they'd want to be under Andrew McQualter. I mean, they need to stick with this guy. It's going to be a long rebuild for them. They need to give him 4 or 5 years to get this football club back on track, because it's starting at a low base and it might get lower. If Harley Reid leaves over the next 18 months, if Oscar Allen, their captain, leaves as a free agent at the end of this season, it could get so difficult for this football club. The fact they're producing performances like that with those 2 players in their team suggests that potentially they haven't hit rock bottom yet. Potentially there is worse still to come for West Coast. So really disappointing showing for them today. They need to pick up their intensity levels around the footy, because, as I said, 77 contested possessions, an all-time low. That would be incredibly disappointing for Andrew McQualter.
Now, it's a 6-day turnaround between now and Good Friday for Carlton, and Michael Voss will be forced to make at least 2 changes, because we saw a pretty serious injury, we believe, to Brodie Kemp. He came off with a suspected Achilles rupture, and this was after Harry Mackay came out of the game, his return game after missing the last 3 games. He barely played this game. He came out with a concussion. You saw the nasty shiner on his face post-game. Yeah, it was shattering for Harry Mackay, given all that he's been through over the last month, to only last barely a quarter before he was subbed out with that concussion. And then this is the Brodie Kemp incident, so innocuous behind play, just trying to launch for a lead. We think that's a ruptured Achilles, which is so disappointing for Brodie Kemp, given he started the season pretty well, and he's already been through his injury issues in the past. He had that ACL injury, which ruined his draft year. So incredibly disappointing for both of them. Carlton will be required to make a couple of forward changes. What do they do? Yeah, I think it's fascinating. I think Lewis Young probably comes back into the side, given he played when Harry Mackay wasn't in the team earlier in the year. I think there's a chance now for Mark Pitney to potentially come into that side. He's fully fit again, having missed the start of the year with that calf injury. Do they throw Tom De Koning forward a little bit more? Do they go a bit smaller in their forward line? That's the other option for them. I mean, there's Ashton Moyer in the reserves who played last week and then was dropped for this one, so they could potentially go a little bit smaller. But yeah, as you mentioned, that 6-day turnaround to Good Friday. We're going to get to North Melbourne in just a little bit, but Carlton need to make it 2 in a row. And you got that sense from Michael Voss when he spoke after the game. He said he didn't feel relief. He said he just wanted to play the next game now, because, as we know, they're 1-4 to start the year, and bigger tests will lie ahead than this really dismal West Coast side.